This is a conversation with Zhou Qing'an, Dean of the Tsinghua School of Journalism and Communications, conducted by Zhang Xi. Now let's get started. At what moment did you decide to pursue a career in journalism and communication?
I still remember in 2000, I accompanied with my supervisor, Professor Li Qiguang, to go to the Gobi Desert to spend 20 days in the Gobi Desert. We started the journey from Lanzhou and then to Dunhuang. And then from Dunhuang, we entered the Gobi Desert and we rent some desert cars, carried enough water and food, and we passed the lowland Asian city, which never opened to the society at the time. And then we walk out of the Gobi Desert to the Turfan area of Xinjiang. And during that trip, I decided to follow my heart to enter the journalism and communication studies because it was so brilliant that we can find more and more stories from the history to the contemporary China.
How many countries have you been to, and which is the most memorable one?
Many countries. I think more than 20. I should mention the first country I've been. Many students traveled United States or Japan as their first international journey. But to me, the first foreign country I visited is Jordan. Do you know that country? Jordan in Middle East. Jordan.
Yes.
So what's the capital?
Amman.
Right. So I just entered some international conference in Jordan. Jordan is a very interesting and historic country mixed with the Islam culture and the local culture at the same time. And you can find a heritage of ancient Rome in Jordan. And also can heard the Islam pray and to visit the Dead Sea at the same time. And I still remember that I stand on the side of Dead Sea, and during that time the sun set, and a friend told me on the other side, which was still shining with the lights, was Israel. And I told him, if we have a boat, we can travel from this side to Israel on the other side. And I still remember right now that he told me a very famous thing. This is a quite a long trip from this side to that side. I suggest you a shorter way to go to Israel. I asked him, what's the shorter way? He said, you travel back to Beijing and ask the visa from Israel ambassador, and then fly it from Beijing to Tel Aviv. That's much more easier and will be quite short. So at that time, I feel the tough and the complexity of the situation in the Middle East. Unfortunately, the situation in Israel right now is very terrible. But I do think if you know more historic stories and you tell more stories happened in the land of Middle East, you will be much patient to see the situation happened in Middle East. And you can tell more good stories of the Middle East to any other countries.
And what is the difference between your college life and your students' college life?
I still remember my student college life very much. I missed that very much. I always think about the life 26 or 27 years before. And I think the biggest difference between your college life and my college life is internet. Because at the very beginning of my college life, there was no internet in the campus. So everything you need to face. So in the late years of 1990s, I do believe that nearly every Tsinghua student can play guitar. They have different kinds of interest. We don't have the printing post. If you want to recruit some members of the students' interest group, you need to use your handwriting and to stick the handwriting post in the classroom, or you have to stand up in the grassroots and speak to students, to recruit them, to encourage them to do some things. So at that time, the campus was full of enthusiastic. We had so many energy to try to change ourselves, and we are very ambitious to change the future of the society, the future of the higher educations. But in the early years of 21st century, things changed a lot because we have internet. At that time, we have QQ, Tencent, And then we have ICQ. I don't know whether you know ICQ. And then we have like Yahoo, we have Google, we have different of that. And we have chat room, and we have blogs, not Weibo, just the blog. You need to write thousands of words in your blogs to attract the readers. So at that time, things changed a lot. We have to pay more attention on the internet, right? Even we don't know how to communicate with the partners in the same dormitory. We just put too much attention on the computer. But right now, because you have this one, you have the cell phone, so you pay too much attention on the social media. You lost the capability of communications, you lost the capabilities of entertainment and practicing, exercising. I'm not quite sure this is advantage or disadvantage of the development of society, but to me, I really miss the life that we don't have internet.
From your observation as a professor, are the students with higher GPA more successful in their future careers? If not, what's the most valuable quality you think a student should have?
I think to postgraduate student, the GPA is not evaluation to judge the capability of a student. On one hand, because your GPA are quite similar, it's not so different between each other. On the other hand, I do think the capability of finding stories and telling stories is very important to each student in the School of Journalism Communications. Because when we teach the courses to the students, we did not just want them to get high GPA. The courses is not only evaluated by GPA, but also evaluated by the feedback and the capability, which led the student to follow the guide of the lessons to do their jobs. Especially in the time of social media, we do think that the capability to be professional in the career will be very important. And more students of journalism lost the capability of telling stories and lost the sense to be a journalist. They don't have the interest to discover the stories. They don't have the interest to connect all the information and try to find the differences between the different people, between the different phenomena, between the different society. So they don't know stories coming from the difference between people's understanding and the social development. If the phenomenon shows the difference or strange to the people, the story existed. So you need to have the curiosity, you need to have the encourage, you need to stick on digging the stories. And even some people stop you to find the story or stop you to tell the story. You need to know how to have a round trip to try to finish your work and to try to get that goal. So that's the most thing for the training of a future journalist. So I think GPA is just a very small evaluation stone for postgraduate students. Of course, if you have high GPA, that will be fine, but that cannot prove that you are an excellent student.
Do you consider yourself as an introvert or extrovert?
I or E, right?
Yes, MBTI. And do you believe that people majoring in journalism and communication should be extroverted? Why or why not?
No, I did the test. I'm I, not E. And I think this is a fake story to be extrovert, introvert. And I do think people will show different faces in different cases. So even you are I, you can be very outcome in the storytelling. And if you are E, if you just outcome in everywhere without the logic, I don't think you will be a very good journalist. There are two kinds of journalists, as I think. One is a kind of person that he can raise questions anywhere. He will follow the questions and question you again and again. He looks like aggressive and will make the person who answers the questions sometimes embarrassed. But this is a kind of journalist. But another kind of journalist, they just very, very calm. And then there always be one chance for him to raise questions, like in press conference. Each journalist just had one chance to ask questions. So the most important question, the sharp question, will be very important. So the capability is you can raise the suitable question or the most important question in the suitable time, even just once. So I think this is also very good journalist. So maybe the former one is E, the later one will be I, but I think E and I also can be very good journalists.
Yes.